So Solenta is a very interesting company. We're actually, if you can imagine, an umbrella. It's called Asia. So Asia buys aeroplanes, and then underneath Asia, they have established, it always was Solenta, South Africa, and then it became Solenta Gabon, Solenta Ivory Coast, Solenta Mozambique, Solenta Algeria. So they established a whole lot of other Solentas within various different countries throughout Africa and the Middle East. I work for the division of the company that manages all of the pilot and cabin crews training. I'm sure if you look on our profile, you'll see a name, Jan van der Merwe. He does the same as me, but for engineers. So we have between the two of us probably 500 crew that we look after, that we ensure that they are trained correctly and compliantly for the countries on which they fly. So we've got two sectors. In the engineering division, they are required by law to do theoretical training every year. Let's say 10 courses every year. So Jan van der Merwe, he uses ProProfs as a course with an examination. So there will be a section of learning with presentations or slideshows, that sort of thing. For an example is, so we have an old style caravan, and we've just purchased a new one, and the engines are different. So we will put together a presentation where it'll show the crew what the old one looked like and what the new one looked like, and how do you fly the new one. So that's what the engineers use it for. Compliance training annually. In the pilot sector, it's a little bit more complicated with our civil aviation, because pilot training will always result in a form of practical. Either a simulated practical or an actual aircraft practical. So I use ProProfs for preparation to get them to that simulated phase. Pilots are notoriously lazy, and unfortunately they are heavily trained. So we had to come up with a way that would encourage them to prepare for the simulated session. Otherwise they arrive and then they perform badly. We spend more money on retraining, which is where ProProfs came in for us. We used to do it years ago. On a Monday morning, they would have to come, the crew that were training that week would have to come to the office, and they would sit ground school, instructor-led ground school, which would then result in these 3 quizzes. But time and distance and all of these different things, it became tricky to have the crew in an office environment with an instructor. That's why we switched to an online platform where we activate the quizzes for you 2 weeks before you come for your training. I mean, we have not found another system that can accommodate what we need. I don't know if you know the system Envision. They have been out to us a few times because we've asked them. They want us to move purely to that system, and we've shown them this and said, this is what we want. Can you build it? And not at the level that you are offering. They can't. Or the amount of options that ProProfs offers. Like I say, you can do a course, a quiz, a survey, PowerPoint. You can have a downloadable material. We have not found a supplier that can offer that range of things. So that's good. Oh, definitely time, because our crew are all contract crew. So they work in West Africa for 2 months, and then they're in South Africa with their families for a month. So if you have to ask them to come 1 or 2 extra days to sit in an office, they're wasting time with their families. So now we give them the exams. While they're sitting in West Africa, they can do the exams, prepare, and then they get those extra days at home. So the crew love it. Remember, we also pay if you, in aviation, if you are on duty, we pay that day. So yeah, it works both ways. Definitely we saved money on it. Money and time. My department primarily uses that whole quiz system. So I can send the Excel spreadsheet to the older instructors, because that's a reality. They work in it, they send it back to me, and I can click and upload. That for me is a huge time saver. You know, I don't have to check the questions, and then I give it to them to test. And they test a live quiz. When a pilot comes and says, it was such a hard quiz, I failed it twice, and then I go on and I can see it took him 3 seconds to complete the quiz. Like, really, how much work did you actually put into that quiz? Because he makes out like he spent 4 days on it. But ProProfs tells me clearly, with a screenshot and everything, you spend 3 seconds. I love it. That is my ultimate, most favorite feature of ProProfs. You know what's also really great, which I enjoy, is your service team. So I work with a couple of different online platforms, and some of them are only available after 3 o'clock in the afternoon or after, and that doesn't work for me in South Africa because we have a different time zone. If I have a problem, I need to be able to chat to someone now. And your guys are always online within 3 or 4 minutes. It's really nice to work with them. It's really good. Of all the systems I work with, your team is definitely one of the quickest